Welcome back to another episode of Retail Shift, business advice for inventory-based brands and the merchants who run them. I'm Chris Guillo, CEO of Merchant Method, and your retail coach for the next few minutes. This week, we're diving into the path of successful grand store opening, specifically the overlooked aspects of planning a grand opening. So if you've got an opening in the making or a grand reopening, stick around. But also, what I'm going to encourage you to do is stick around anyway, even if you host pop-ups in your shop or you sell in a pop-up. If you are releasing a limited run of merchandise, if you sell in seasonal markets, if you want to launch your new seasonal assortment with a huge bang, because what I'm going to share about event planning and grand openings applies to you too. Now, I know you, merchant. Chances are you've researched successful event planning. You might have hired someone who is great at local or regional marketing. Maybe you even have tried and true processes from other events that you're bringing to this one. And what I'm doing today is sharing 2 additional event planning musts to stack on top of what you already do and what you already know. So the first thing to remember about a grand reopening is that it's part of a very long relationship you're going to have with your customer. And while it's the first time you're collecting revenue, it's certainly not the beginning. Social engagement should start about 4 to 6 weeks. And what I want you to do is, and what's natural to do, is emphasize a look behind the scenes rather than simply promoting a one-time event. So here's what I mean. Rather than simply sharing, we're getting excited, the paint's going up on the wall, we're assembling our fixtures, the products here, take the opportunity to really share about the brand, about your mission, about who the team is they're going to see, what your guiding principles are. And that's not customer-facing language. You would never say, we're guided by the principle of self-sustainability. But there's ways that you can share so much about your story, about who you are, about what your influences are, about why you're so passionate about the community that you're serving. So even though you're planning the event for a grand opening, what you're really doing is setting the stage and selling your brand experience before you even open the doors. So whether you're targeting hashtags on Instagram or you are engaging in specific interest groups on Facebook, or you are writing a blog post for your local chamber of commerce, what I want you to do is share these sneak peeks and tell your brand story multiple times throughout this period. You'll be sick of it, but you know every detail about the event and every detail about your assortment, every detail about your brand, and other people need to be invited into all that you know. If you do this, I'm so excited for you. It's such a special way to create a relationship and not just promote a one-time event. Okay, tip 2, when planning your event, I want you to set a goal. I want you to set a purpose, an objective, whatever way you want to think about it, a reason that creates urgency for people to come to your grand opening. Yes, you will have support from family and friends and the community. I also want you to be thinking about specifically your ideal customer. So consider not only their brand experience, but also your profit strategy. So I've seen this time and time again, especially for grand reopenings or grand openings, pricing incentives, discounts, store-wide. And that fear of missing out on a good deal is effective and it's fabulous. But I just want to make sure that you're not negatively impacting the overall health of your business by starting the tone and nature with discounted product. So What I suggest instead is to maybe research and invest in a limited assortment of merchandise exclusive to your grand opening. What this might mean is you're selling a specific set of items at a promotional price instead of promoting a store-wide discount. And as you do this research, you can select something that has got a lower cost and you're imbuing it with value so you can still charge what you need to charge and offer it at a price that is compelling enough for customers. This doesn't have to be one item. It doesn't have to be 15 items. It doesn't have to be half your assortment. You don't have to buy a ton of it. That's the beauty. You get to decide. But what I want you to do is plan the objective, plan the incentive with purpose. And so I'm hoping this gives you a bit of a jumping off point to think through the invitation, but also the intention of your profitability. See, I told you I'd stack on top of what you already know and do. Super cool, right? So, as you know, these episodes are super quick. I believe that you're going to take what you need from Retail Shift and leave the rest behind. And I also know you benefit from real deal how-tos. So, here's what I want you to do. I want you to sign up for my updates from me to you at merchantmethod.com/sign up. When you do, you'll receive weekly tips from me on how to get better results in your business. You'll receive invitations to my free training and a few surprises I think you'll enjoy. And here's the first invitation. Every week, on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, I go live in my Facebook group. And I really dive into the how-to aspects that I share here on the podcast. So if you're listening to this episode as it drops, on Tuesday, I'll be over at Merchant Method on Facebook sharing a tutorial around Facebook events and why you need to be utilizing Facebook events just a little bit differently. All right, so I'll catch you over on the email sign-up page, merchantmethod.com/sign-up. I'm really excited to stay connected. A little digital lovin' from me to you. Thank you so much for joining me this week. It would not be the same here without you. And as you go about planning your grand opening, grand reopening, pop-up event, selling event, or just shouting out with your biggest event around a new seasonal assortment, I hope that it goes really, really well for you. And then not only are you going to be driving additional revenue, but you're also going to be endearing yourself with the customers that are going to become your most loyal, long-term, and profitable fans.